Welcome, Leo, to your in-depth weekly astrology overview and zodiac forecast for week commencing the 23rd of March for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. I'm going to share with you the big themes of the week. Then on screen, the event chart on Monday always provides an influential backdrop for the whole 7 days. I'll then go through those influences frame by frame to give you a clear picture of what you can expect in terms of relationships, finance, energy, and work. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, please do so now and help it to continue to thrive. So as you go into this week, Leo, Mercury, the planet of communication, is stationed direct, and that is going to truly help. But we're also going to see a conjunction between the Sun and Saturn on Wednesday in Aries for the first time in 28 years. But moreover, historically, they're forging a link to Pluto in the sign of Aquarius as a duo. Well, it would be hard to know when it happened before. It's that rare. What's the significance for you? Then we also have on Wednesday a quarter moon, but it's a bit of a delicate one for you personally. I will share why. Towards the end of the week, the lovely Venus links with the complex Chiron. What's the implication of that for you? So on the screen is your event chart. As ever, we need to be mindful of your ruler, the sun, and there's the sun having just moved on from that initial contact with Neptune, the first for 150 years that happened last week. It's going to be moving into the conjunction with Saturn on Wednesday. The other takeout is the moon and Uranus are very close together as we go into this week in the part of your chart that's to do with your connection to the world. You could be feeling very restless around your work if you're not enjoying it with that influence. So what are we to make of this week in detail? Well, Mercury is going forwards, as I mentioned. If there have been some snags around receiving a payout on perhaps an insurance claim, you're trying to move some assets around with Mercury retrograde in the 8th house, maybe shared finances has been a bit complicated recently. With the North Node and Mercury very close together, they've had their third contact because of the retrograde. Just let your instincts guide you. But Mars in that 8th house, which can be very much about being determined to improve your long-term financial lot, or it can be much more to do with intimacy. That's certainly given you a lot of desire to get on the front foot. But Mars is in a great link with Jupiter. Because they're both in water signs, and they're both therefore very psychological for you personally, I think your ability to get beneath the surface of situations, but then have the confidence to believe in what your instincts are telling you is really going to be important this week. But then the sun moves forward and into that conjunction with Saturn. If you're thinking about buying a new mode of transport, the 9th house can be very much about long distance travel as well. Those are two areas where Saturn could show up some weaknesses. If you're wanting to take that next step forwards in terms of your professional qualifications or even academic qualifications, you really need to think through what you're going to do, because all of those areas could bring rewards. Saturn does reward us if we put the application in, but it can also show up weaknesses. And the 9th house can also make you much more conscious of where you feel closed in, where your options aren't as good as you would like. And another thing I think this 9th house energy can be about, if there has been an intense connection with someone and it has been sexual, or you've been involved with them a long time and you're not really enjoying it, if you're going through some kind of separation, it could be that there's going to be some heavy conversations and some consequences. The quarter moon, which occurs at the heart of the week, is between the moon in its home sign of Cancer and the sun in the 9th house. A 9th, 12th energy can have a tendency to amplify sensitivities. So if there's something you are feeling a little bit unsure of or maybe vulnerable around, it may seem to take on more energy, and that could be a bit uncomfortable. By the end of the week, however, as Venus applies to Chiron in Aries is very much about identity, but the ninth house is about our higher values. If there is something around a relationship where your philosophies don't quite match, that may be the challenge that shows up this week with Saturn on the Sun. Because as much as last week, you could have let, your hopes and your more idealistic energies come to the fore with the Sun's conjunction to Neptune. The sheer reality of any situation is going to be much more to the fore. So if you feel that you want to do something around a long distance travel plan, a new mode of transport, any kind of educational strand, think it through carefully. And if you're absolutely sure you want to do it, I actually think it could work out well if you've done your planning carefully. If, however, you've been involved in a situation that's felt heavy and limiting, there may be part of you that wants to break out, but somehow or another your options don't seem to quite give you that opportunity to do so. But just know by the end of the week, as Venus applies to Chiron, things can lighten up. And as the Sun gets beyond Saturn next week, you're going to start to feel much more energized. Obviously, the sign of Aries shares your fire triplicity. It can be about passion. It can be about action. That action is possible, but it needs to be extremely well planned. And if there are any blockages or limitations, unfortunately, they could show up. However, because of Pluto's link to that combination of Saturn and the Sun at the heart of this week, if there's someone you do align with very well, and it's someone that you're getting to know, you may realize even more just how profoundly important and valuable they can be to you. So there's a little bit of a polarity between the up and the downside of the Sun's conjunction with Saturn, but Pluto around relationships particularly can certainly make you much more conscious of who is right for you, just as much as who truly isn't. So just to recap, when it comes to your financial situation, if things have been bogged down, Mercury going direct can help. Mars being in that area is going to keep your desire pumped up. However, its link to Jupiter is mainly quite psychological, so you need to stay in touch with your instincts around decisions. The ninth house energy is all about exploration, travel, the big picture, but Saturn could make that complex. But equally, you could make a decision at the heart of this week which sees you guided by who you feel most idealistically connected to. And that could see you separate from someone else who had been important, but you just realize you're never going to be on the same page in terms of your worldview. And you may as well be philosophical about that. When it comes to your professional situation, you could feel a bit restless at the start of this week. And one of the things that I think could show up for you is if your job is just a little bit too routine. There's part of you at the moment that does want to be explorative, even if there is another part of most Leos where, as much as you are ruled by the Sun, you're a fixed sign. So change isn't something that you activate very easily, but in a way, you're going to be thinking about change a lot this week. And I think that's really probably the main theme of the week. You can sign up for your free daily horoscope, Leo. Please see the link below. I've written these for years. Get your celestial pit stop fired to your device each morning. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, please see the testimonials below. If you've yet to watch your vernal equinox 3-month forecast, please click on the screen for that. Your Pisces new moon 1-month forecast for that. And your personal horoscopes, if you want to decode your journey through this life in a totally unique way to you, they're great value. And there's 50% off. Please apply Astro 26 or Draco 26 at the checkout. Have a great week. All the best and goodbye.